Hello and welcome to News Tonight on Rajya Sabha TV, where we get you the day's biggest news stories from across India and the world. I'm Tina Jha. Let's begin with the headlines. Unruly scenes in the upper house have pained every Indian. Rajya Sabha Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu asserts that suspended members must rethink, introspect and express regret over their conduct. Also asserts that Deputy Chairman Harivansh handled the situation in a very deft manner. Rajya Sabha passes 6 bills, including the Companies Amendment Bill 2020 and the Banking Regulation Amendment Bill 2020. Also deliberates upon and returns to Lok Sabha the Taxation and Other Laws Relaxation and Amendment of Certain Provisions Bill 2020. Lok Sabha passes 3 bills on Labour Code, including the Occupational Safety, Health and Working Conditions Code 2020. Labour Minister says reforms will prove to be a milestone for the welfare of workers. Also passes the Jammu and Kashmir Official Languages Bill. Prime Minister Narendra Modi asked the youth of the country to be future ready and future fit. Addressing the 22nd convocation of IIT Guwahati, Prime Minister asserts that national education policy will establish India as a global education destination. Prime Minister Modi urges for comprehensive reforms in the United Nations to meet challenges of the 21st century. Virtually addresses high-level meeting of UN General Assembly, says India's philosophy aligns with that of the UN. Rajya Sabha Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu on Tuesday expressed unhappiness over the suspension of 8 members for their unruly behavior in the House. He said the members must rethink, introspect and express regret over their condemnable conduct. Only then a decision can be taken. The chairman stressed that unruly scenes have pained every Indian and brought disrepute to the House of Elders.
At no time, the chair is not chairman. Chair is deputy chairman, chair is even panel chairman, should be dragged into this controversy. Then, suspension. This is not the first time. I'm not happy about the suspension. After all, they are my members. They are our countrymen. Action is on their conduct, not person. Try to understand. We don't have anything against any member, as far as I am concerned. May be removed from the office by a resolution of the council passed by majority and then members of the council, provided no resolution for the purpose of clause C shall be moved unless at least 14 days notice has been given of the intention to move the resolution. There was no 14 days prior notice. Clear? You are right. Not judgment, that's a rule. Whatever judgment we say, the rule says 14 days. He is right. After 14 days, we have to take up that resolution, if the resolution is in order. Now only 2 days or 3 days are over since I received the notice. One, notice not in order because it mentions a motion, not resolution. Second, 14 days time. And then the interpretation is that within that period, the deputy chairman shall not preside over the House. That is wrong. That is after I take it for consideration. When the motion and the resolution is for consideration of the House, the person against whom the resolution is moved is not supposed to preside over the House. That is the rule position. Please try to understand.
The chairman asserted that the suspended members cannot put the blame on the deputy chairman, who he emphasized that handled the situation in a very deft manner. The chairman also appreciated the deputy chairman's act of bringing tea for the protesting members in Parliament complex. Meanwhile, Deputy Chairman Harivansh wrote to the chairman stating that he was pained by the incident and wants to observe fast for 24 hours.
The deputy chairman Now that the leader of the House has mentioned it, he wrote a letter to me expressing his commitment to democracy, the way he was conducting the House and what has happened, how he was treated. And then he said, in order to arouse the conscience of the people, he want to, मुझे क्या कहना मेरे ऊपर छोड़ दीजिए, प्लीज आपने सुझाव दिया मैं जरूर. He said he want to observe hunger, what do you call the, not strike, self fast, to make the members who have behaved in such a manner to realize और एक introspection करे, ये आशा से उन्होंने ऐसा. And this is a Gandhian way, this is a JP way. आज सुबह हरिवंशी जी ने खुद चाय बना के घर पे, चाय जो लोग वहाँ धरने पे बैठे सदस्य उनको पिलाने के लिए गए और वहाँ चाय उनको दिया है. ये मानवता और गांधी पद्धति वो शुरू से अपना रहे, केवल आज नहीं.
Meanwhile, Parliamentary Affairs Minister Prahlad Joshi said on Tuesday that the suspended members of Parliament must express regret over their unruly behaviour. He also asserted that the numbers favour the government in division or passage of any bill.
Parliamentary Affairs Minister Prahlad Joshi condemned the actions of the 8 suspended members. He said the opposition's claim of the government shortening time for discussion on bills doesn't hold. Joshi added that, on the contrary, it was the opposition that sought curtailment of the ongoing session. He said the opposition created uproar in the House as it did not have the numbers for division.
Is it the first time that we have extended the timing of the House? Many times, sir, even in this current session, we have extended the time twice or thrice before to that. If they express the regret, government is not bent upon to keep them away and run the business, sir. We are on very strong footage, sir. Even on this bill, I don't want to go on the merit of that bill, sir. But whatever previously all parties, they have promised in their manifesto, including Bharatiya Janata Party.
Right, don't go into merit.
I'm not going, that itself is done, sir. But in spite of that, we are ready for the discussion. On that day particularly, it was in our favor, it was 110, and it was in there for it is 72, sir, which can be proved again, sir.
Leader of the House, Thawar Chand Gehlot, also condemned the incident and expressed anguish over the unruly scenes.
माइक तोड़ देना, आपकी टेबल पर ये यहाँ साइड में आकर के बैठ जाना, हरिवंश जी के ऊपर हाथ उठाना, माइक तोड़ने के साथ साथ ये टेबल पे भी चढ़ जाना, रूल्स किताबें फाड़ना, बिल की कॉपी फाड़ना, इस प्रकार का जो घटनाक्रम है वो दुखद है और बहुत निंदनीय है. एलओपी ने भी इस बात की निंदा की, दुखद है ये भी कहा. उसके बाद भी उन्होंने आसंदी पर आक्षेप किया. ये कदापि उचित नहीं है. आसंदी ने जो निर्णय किया वो उचित किया है. अभी भी मैं मानता हूं कि आसंदी का निर्णय सर्वोपरि है. आसंदी के निर्णय की अवमानना करना ये उचित नहीं है.
On Monday, the motion moved by the government seeking suspension of 8 members for unruly conduct was adopted by the upper house. The motion was put to vote and carried by voice vote. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
However, leader of opposition in Rajya Sabha, Ghulam Nabi Azad, said they will boycott proceedings of the House till their demands are met, including revoking the suspension of the 8 members. Some opposition leaders also expressed unhappiness over the unruly scenes and apologized to the chair.
Leader of opposition Ghulam Nabi Azad said they will boycott the proceedings of the Rajya Sabha. He put forth 3 demands that included revoking the suspension of 8 MPs and more time being allocated for discussion on crucial bills.
कि गवर्नमेंट को एक दूसरा बिल लाना चाहिए और जो उसके साथ ही हमारे जो कलीग्स हैं जिनको सस्पेंड किया है रेस्ट ऑफ द सेशन के लिए उनका भी वो वापस लेना चाहिए. तो ये 3 चीजें जो किसानों से संबंधित
Right.
जब तक सरकार इनको वापस नहीं लेती है हम सेशन का बाईकॉट करना है।
Samajwadi Party member Ram Gopal Yadav apologized on behalf of opposition members for the unruly scenes. Other opposition leaders sought revocation of suspension of 8 MPs.
लेकिन एक चूक संसदीय कार्य मंत्री हमारे मित्र हैं, बहुत अच्छे आदमी हैं। एक स्थिति ऐसी बन सकती थी कि वो ये कह सकते थे चेयर से कि 10 मिनट के लिए हाउस स्थित कर दें, विपक्ष के नेताओं से बात करके करें।
2 days back is condemnable and we are all sorry for it. That we know, we share your view. But one thing which we had not understood yesterday, what has happened. Up to 1 o'clock, everything went right. It is only at 1 o'clock when they wanted an extension of time, this kind of a disturbances came in.
Again, we were agonized and condemnable. It's not, I think, it doesn't reflect the precedence of this August House. And so also the incidents that happened after that was triggered only by the way we were treated. The bill was not passed in the proper manner.
Thank you.
Former Prime Minister and JDS member H.D. Devegowda suggested that the opposition and the government must resolve all issues amicably.
Please, I am watching every day. We are not coming here for tamash. Everybody is sincere.
Thank you.
Question of about the bill. X may something, Y may something. Ultimately, the decision of the House we have to accept it. Please think over, sir.
No, you're saying something.
I will appeal to you.
It's completing.
Please think over. I was watching the Deputy Speaker, Deputy Chairman. Such a thing I have not seen.
Later, Congress, TMC, AAP, SP, DMK, TRS and NCP staged a walkout from the House. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Rajya Sabha on Tuesday passed 6 bills and returned to Lok Sabha the Taxation and Other Laws, Relaxation and Amendment of Certain Provisions Bill 2020 after deliberation. These bills that were passed in the House today include the Indian Institutes of Information Technology Laws Amendment Bill 2020, the Essential Commodities Amendment Bill 2020, the Companies Amendment Bill 2020, the Banking Regulation Amendment Bill 2020, the National Forensic Sciences University Bill 2020, and the Rashtriya Raksha University Bill 2020. The Upper House passed the Essential Commodities Amendment Bill 2020, which had been passed by Lok Sabha on the 15th of September. Minister of State for Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution, Danve Rao Sahab Dadarao said the bill is in the interest of farmers and consumers.
आपके माध्यम से आश्वासन देना चाहता हूं कि ये जो 1955 का ये जो कानून था, इस कानून में अभी जो बदलाव लाया है, तो ये बदलाव ये मोदी जी का दृष्टिकोण है। मैं आपको बताना चाहता हूँ विशेष रूप से हमारे प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी के दृष्टिकोण से यहाँ जो लाया हुआ कानून है, इसका फायदा जरूर किसानों को और ग्राहकों को मिलने वाला है। मैं मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में हमारे देश के किसानों की आय दुगनी करना ये हमारा संकल्प है। इस संकल्प पूर्ति की दिशा में ये विधेयक मोदी सरकार का एक महत्वपूर्ण कदम है। उपसभापति महोदय, मैं आपको ये विश्वास दिलाना चाहता हूँ कि ईज ऑफ डूइंग बिजनेस की दिशा में वोकल फॉर लोकल को केंद्र बिंदु मानकर मोदी सरकार विशेष रूप से काम करने में कटिबद्ध है। ये बिल किसानों के हितों में, ये बिल ग्राहकों के हितों में भी काम करेगा, इतना मैं आश्वासन देता हूँ।
Parliament passed the Indian Institutes of Information Technology Laws Amendment Bill 2020, with Rajya Sabha passing it on Tuesday. The bill seeks to declare 5 IIITs as institutions of national importance, thus granting them the power to award degrees. Education Minister Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank said the bill will encourage IIITs to promote the study of information and technology in the country through their innovative and quality methods.
हमारे जो IITs हैं उन्होंने पूरे विश्व लेवल पर हिंदुस्तान का माथा ऊंचा किया है, चाहे माइक्रोसॉफ्ट हो, चाहे गूगल हो। राष्ट्रीय ने अंतर्राष्ट्रीय की उन दुनिया की शीर्ष संस्थाओं पर हमारे IIT से निकलने वाले छात्र आज पूरी दुनिया में भारत का मान सम्मान बढ़ा रहे हैं। अभी हम आसियान देशों के, जहां तक शोध और अनुसंधान का विषय, आसियान देशों के 10 देशों के 1000 से भी अधिक छात्र हमारे यहाँ अनुसंधान के लिए IITs में आ रहे हैं। हम लोगों ने IITs को और तेज़ी से आगे बढ़ाने की कोशिश की है। मैं एक बार फिर आप सबका अभिनंदन करता हूँ।
The Lok Sabha passed 3 bills on Labour Code on Tuesday. The 3 bills include Occupational Safety, Health and Working Conditions Code 2020, the Industrial Relations Code 2020, and the Code on Social Security 2020. Replying to the debate in Lok Sabha, Labour Minister Santosh Kumar Gangwar said these reforms will prove to be a milestone for the welfare of workers. He asserted that efforts have been made to work out a balance between the welfare of workers and ease of doing business for the industry.
और श्रम कानूनों का उद्देश्य हम अपने देश के इन राष्ट्र निर्माताओं को हर प्रकार की सुरक्षा, सुविधा तथा कार्य करने के लिए बेहतर वातावरण प्रदान करें। OSH कोड में परिभाषाओं को भी व्यापक बनाया गया है। वर्तमान श्रम कानून में प्रवासी मजदूर की परिभाषा में केवल वे ही श्रमिक आते हैं जो कि एक ठेकेदार के माध्यम से एक राज्य से दूसरे राज्य में लाए जाते हैं। OSH कोड में प्रवासी मजदूर की इस परिभाषा को सुदृढ़ एवं व्यापक बनाया गया है।
The Occupational Safety, Health and Working Conditions Code 2020 will consolidate and amend the laws regulating the occupational safety, health and working conditions of persons employed in an establishment and related matters. The second bill passed by the Lok Sabha is the Industrial Relations Code 2020. The bill seeks to consolidate and amend the laws relating to trade unions, conditions of employment in industrial establishments or undertaking, investigation and settlement of industrial disputes. The Code on Social Security 2020 will amend and consolidate laws relating to social security with the goal to extend social security to all employees and workers, either in the organized sector or the unorganized sector. Over 29 labour laws have been merged into 4 codes. Code on Wages Bill 2019 has already been passed. And the Lok Sabha also passed the Jammu and Kashmir Official Languages Bill 2020 through voice vote today. The bill makes Kashmiri, Dogri and Hindi official languages in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, along with the already existing English and Urdu languages. Time for a short break here, but more news and updates will continue on the other side. Do stay with us.
Watch The Big Picture with me, Vishal Dahiya, at 9:30 p.m. on Rajya Sabha TV.
Mihir Sen, an outstanding and extraordinary saltwater swimmer of India. He is the first Asian to swim the English Channel way back in 1958. And just 8 years later, in 1966, he swam the 7 seas of the 5 continents in 1 calendar year, which etched his name in the Guinness Book of World Records. In 1959, he was also conferred the Padma Shri, and in 1967, he was awarded the Padma Bhushan.
Welcome back after the break. You're watching News Tonight. Prime Minister Narendra Modi said on Tuesday that the new education policy will play a key role in creating a self-reliant India and also open up the education sector for facilitating greater global exposure for the Indian students. Addressing the 22nd convocation of IIT Guwahati, the Prime Minister asserted that the new education policy 2020 will establish India as a global education destination. Here's a report.
ज्ञानम विज्ञान सहितम यत् ज्ञात्वा मोक्ष से अशुभात, अर्थात विज्ञान के सहित ज्ञान ही सभी समस्याओं से, दुखों से मुक्ति का साधन है.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi elaborating that all the knowledge, including science, is a means to solve problems. While addressing the convocation of IIT Guwahati through video conferencing on Tuesday, the Prime Minister said he was proud of the way institutions like IITs are advancing today, saying this energy for innovation to serve has kept our country alive for thousands of years.
I firmly believe that the future of a nation is what its youth think today. Your dreams are going to shape the reality of India. जैसे जैसे आज इकोनॉमी और सोसाइटी में बदलाव आ रहा है, आधुनिकता आ रही है, इंडियन साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी लैंडस्केप भी, उसको भी कई जरूरी चेंजेस करने की जरूरत है.
The Prime Minister also spoke about the importance of education as a key component for creating a self-reliant India.
हम सब जानते हैं कि नॉलेज के लिए कोई बाउंड्रीज नहीं होती. नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसी देश के एजुकेशन सेक्टर को ओपन अप करने की बात करती है. मकसद ये है कि फॉरेन यूनिवर्सिटीज के कैंपस भी देश में खुले और दुनिया भर का ग्लोबल एक्सपोजर हमारे स्टूडेंट्स को यहीं पर मिले.
In his speech, Prime Minister Modi highlighted that the Northeast region is the center for India's Act East policy and gateway to India's relations with Southeast Asia. He added that education is going to be another new medium and IIT Guwahati can become its major center.
आपकी लाइफ में इस रीजन का कंट्रीब्यूशन भी है और आपने इस रीजन को देखा, समझा और महसूस भी किया है. इस क्षेत्र की जो चुनौतियां हैं, इस क्षेत्र में जो संभावनाएं हैं, उनसे आपकी रिसर्च कैसे जुड़ सकती है, ये आपको सोचना चाहिए. उदाहरण के तौर पर सोलार एनर्जी, विंड एनर्जी, बायोमास और हाइड्रो इलेक्ट्रिक एनर्जी में भी यहां अपार संभावनाएं हैं.
The Prime Minister also urged IIT Guwahati to establish a center for disaster management and risk reduction so that it can provide expertise in dealing with the disasters of the region. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And Prime Minister Narendra Modi has urged for comprehensive reforms in the United Nations to meet the challenges of the 21st century. In his video address to the high-level meeting of the General Assembly to mark 75 years of the United Nations, Prime Minister Modi said that India's philosophy aligns with that of the United Nations.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that the United Nations is facing a crisis of confidence without comprehensive reforms. In his video address to the UN General Assembly, Prime Minister Modi asserted that the world needs a reformed multilateralism that reflects today's realities. He stressed on the need for giving voice to all stakeholders, addressing contemporary challenges and focusing on human welfare.
Today's interconnected world, we need a reformed multilateralism that reflects today's realities, gives voice to all stakeholders, addresses contemporary challenges, and focuses on human welfare.
Prime Minister Modi said as a founding signatory of the UN Charter, India was part of the vision which reflected its own philosophy of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam.
As a founding signatory of the UN Charter, India was part of that noble vision. It reflected India's own philosophy of Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam, which sees all creation as a family. Our world today is a better place because of the United Nations.
Prime Minister Modi highlighted that India is one of the largest contributors to the UN peacekeeping missions. He also urged the UN members to focus on reducing inequality, mitigating conflicts, and addressing the threat of climate change.
We pay tribute to all those who have advanced the cause of peace and development under the UN flag, including in UN peacekeeping missions, where India has been a leading contributor.
On the occasion, the 193-member UN General Assembly adopted a political declaration for strengthening mechanism to combat terrorism, reformed multilateralism, inclusive development and better preparedness to deal with challenges like the COVID-19 pandemic. Prime Minister Modi said that India looks forward to working with all other nations towards this end. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
India has accused Pakistan of spreading deceitful political propaganda. Exercising its right of reply at the 45th session of UN Human Rights Council, India said Pakistan has twice chosen to divert the attention of the Council with its imposturous political propaganda, which is full of disinformation and gratuitous references about India's internal matters. Telling Pakistan to set its own house in order before speaking about others, Senthil Kumar, First Secretary, Permanent Mission of India to the United Nations, informed the Assembly about the numerous instances of incitement to violence against journalists and human rights defenders in Pakistan.
Human rights defenders in Pakistan are being silenced every day through intimidation, secret detention, torture, and enforced disappearances with the direct involvement of the Pakistani government. Targeting of journalists through threats, assaults, arrests, instilling extreme fear and self-censorship exposes the fallacy of Pakistan's so-called military-run democratic system. Very recently, we saw Marvi Sirmad, a women journalist and human rights defender, receiving highly derogatory and violent messages on social media. Journalists Ahmed Noorani and Gul Bukhari and their families have been receiving death threats daily and live in an atmosphere of constant fear and terror. Abductions continue, often of not only journalists and human rights defenders, but also of underage Hindu and Christian girls. Law enforcement agencies in Balochistan, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, and Sindh have been given a free hand and are authorized to arbitrarily detain any person, including those below the age of 18 years. Cries of Baluch sister Hasiba Kamrani for her brothers Hassan and Isbullah Kamrani, who have been forcibly taken away by the Pakistani military, go unheard. This, Mr. Vice President, is a plight of daughters, sisters, and mothers in Pakistan. They say in Imran Khan's Naya Pakistan, you may not return home.
And let's now get your report on the latest COVID-19 situation in the country.
A record 1,01,468 people recovered from the novel coronavirus infection in the last 24 hours till 9 a.m. on Tuesday. India's recovery rate has improved to 80.86%. New single-day cases, on the other hand, have shown a reduction, with 75,083 cases being reported in the last 24 hours. Total COVID-19 cases so far has gone past 55 lakh. There were 1,053 COVID-19 related deaths in the last 24 hours. So far, the virus has claimed 88,935 lives. India has 9,75,861 active cases, while a total of 44.97 lakh people have recovered.
इस समय हमारे देश में 44,90,000 रिकवर्ड लोग हैं। ये विश्व की सबसे बड़ी संख्या है। तो रिकवरी में हम इस समय विश्व में नंबर 1 हैं। दूसरी जो बड़ी हाईलाइट है वो ये है कि देश का जो रिकवरी रेट है वो 80% से अधिक हो चुका है आज जब हम आपसे बातें कर रहे हैं। तीसरी जो बड़ी बात है, मुख्य बात है वो ये कि पिछले 24 घंटों में 1 लाख से ज़्यादा रिकवरीज देश में दर्ज की गईं। और चौथी जो मुख्य हाईलाइट है वो ये कि अब तक हम 6.5 करोड़ टेस्ट कर चुके हैं।
Maharashtra, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu and Uttar Pradesh reported the highest single-day rise in cases in the last 24 hours. Maharashtra, Karnataka, Uttar Pradesh, West Bengal and Tamil Nadu reported the highest single-day increase in deaths in the same period. ICMR tested 9.33 lakh samples yesterday. So far, 6.53 crore samples have been tested. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And that's it from us on this bulletin. Thank you for your time. Good night.